All right, so for this video, we are going to talk about multiplying polynomials. So there's just a main distinction versus adding variables together and multiplying variables together. So let's take a quick look. When we are adding 2x plus 3x, all right, we look for those common terms, x and x. So all we have to do is add the coefficients, 2 plus 3, and we get 5x. Okay, we talked about this before. Combining like terms, you add the coefficients, keep the variable. But when we're multiplying variables together, it's a little bit different. So if we have 2x times 3x, so now we're multiplying, so instead of 2 plus 3, it's 2 times 3, which is 6. And when you have x times x, we get x squared. When you multiply common variables, x to x, you add the exponents. So in this case, we have an x to the first and an x to the first. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So if we had another problem, say we had 4x cubed times 5x squared, we have 4 times 5, which is 20, x cubed times x squared, that is x to the fifth. Okay, the reason that that works out, x cubed means x times x times x. And then if we multiply that to x squared, that's x times x. How many x's do we have? We have 5. So 3 plus 2, we get x to the fifth. Okay, this was a monomial times a monomial. You multiply the coefficients together and you multiply the variables together. So we'll put a little side note here. So we multiply the coefficients and we multiply the variables. With multiplying the variables, if they're the same variable, common variable, x times x, you add the exponents. All right, and right now, those are our rules for our multiplying variables. So we just did a monomial times a monomial. All you have to do is multiply the coefficients together and then multiply the variables together by adding the exponents. So let's look at a harder problem. So now we're going to take a monomial times a binomial. So let's do 5x cubed times 2x squared plus 6. 5x cubed times 2x squared plus 6. Here, we're still going to multiply the coefficients to coefficients, the variables to variables. But before we do that, we have to distribute the multiplication. What that means is our 5x cubed has to be multiplied to the 2x squared and the 6. So we're going to go ahead and distribute this multiplication. So 5x cubed times 2x squared, 5 times 2 is 10, x cubed times x squared is x to the fifth. 3 plus 2 is 5. Then we distribute 5 times positive 6, that's a positive 30. X cubed times, there's no x's, so this stays x cubed. Distribute. Okay? So if you have a monomial in front of a binomial, you distribute that monomial to both terms. We could up this just a little bit, and we could make this 7x squared times 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. Now we have a monomial times a trinomial. We're just going to distribute the multiplication 3 times. So, just like this. 7x squared times 2x squared, that's 14x to the fourth. 7x squared times negative 4x, that's negative 28x cubed. And 7x squared times positive 1 is a positive 7x squared. Awesome. Again, all we're doing is distributing to our trinomial or binomial, whatever we have. Okay, so now we're going to up it again. We are going to take a binomial, 2x plus 3, and we're going to multiply that to 5x minus 8. Okay, so now we have two binomials. If this first was just 3 times 5x minus 8, we would just distribute the 3 and call it good. If it was just the 2x times 5x minus 8, we would distribute the 2x and call it good. So now when we distribute, we have to distribute both terms in that first binomial. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take 2x times 5x, and I get 10x squared. Then I take 2x times negative 8, which is negative 16x. Then 3 times 5x. Once we've distributed the first term, now we're distributing the second term. 3 times 5x is a 15x, and 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. So again, all we've done is distribute. But we have one new step. If possible, combine like terms. So we'll say, if needed, combine like terms. Cool. So I need to combine these two middle terms. They're both x to the first. So we keep the 10x squared. Negative 16x plus 15x is negative x. And then we keep the negative 24. So when we have a binomial times a binomial, we have to distribute each term in the first binomial to each term in the second binomial. Okay? From there, we could take it a small step forward, and we could do a binomial times a trinomial, where you just distribute to each term. So let's take a look at that before we say goodbye. All right. So if I have 5x minus 3 times 4x squared plus 6x minus 9. So again, we're just distributing. Distribute the first term, 5x, to all three terms. So 5x times 4x squared is 20x cubed. 5x times 6x is positive 30x squared. 5x times negative 9 is negative 45x. First term distributed. Now we're going to distribute the second term. So now I'm taking negative 3, and I'm going to distribute to all three. Negative 3 times 4x squared, that's a negative 12x squared. I'm already grouping my like terms here. Negative 3 times 6x is negative 18x. And negative 3 times negative 9 is a positive 27. I've already grouped my like terms, so I've just created this giant addition problem. So I've got 20x cubed, that's a positive 18x squared, that's a negative 63x plus 27. And here is my product of my binomial times my trinomial. Okay, I've got a worksheet uploaded with the answers available. Give these a go and see how you do.